folks, and I will tell a funny story. You may think it's sad, but I was in my glory. 'Twas a cellar I crept in, the cobwebs brushing by my chin, on the night I stole old Sammy Morgan's gin. As my hand fell on the jug, I had to snicker. When I started for the door, I went much quicker. For just up above my head, someone jumped right out of bed, on the night I stole old Sammy Morgan's gin. As I left that cellar, believe me, I was lifting, and the hops from one arm to the other shifting. I then stopped and hauled the plug and sat there till I drained the jug. Had my mind all set, no spare drops I was missing. Then on my feet I thought I was, but I wasn't. And for roads I guess I saw about a dozen. When I reached the old porch door, I went smack on the floor, on the night I stole old Sammy Morgan's gin. I just made one step and I landed in the coal box, and from off the mantel came a Big Ben alarm clock. But I finally got upstairs after passing 7 bears, on the night I stole old Sammy Morgan's gin. By my bedroom door an owl stood taking tickets, and a monkey stood before me baking biscuits. But the funniest sight of all was 2 roosters playing ball, on the night I stole old Sammy Morgan's gin. I saw mice as big as horses washing dishes, as an ape came in the door dressed up in breeches. Then the floor fell on me head when I tried to get in bed, on the night I stole old Sammy Morgan's gin. Well, I woke next morning, oh, I guess 'twas closer evening, and my room it was certainly in an awful shape. Someone else had took my head and left an elephant's there instead, on the morning after drinking Sammy's gin. I'll ne'er forget the day that I was born. It was on a cold and frosty winter's morn. The doctor said I was a chubby chap, and then the nurse, she put me on her lap. Oh, she bathed me all over, I remember, and after powder puffing me, you see, she put me in the cradle by the window, in that little shirt my mother made for me, in that little shirt my mother made for me. I recall the first day I wore knickerbockers. They seemed so funny after wearing frocks. I was a little picture, they did say, but when they let me out to run and play, oh, I didn't like those pants that I was wearing, and in the street I took them off, you see, and I started walking home so brave and daring, in that little shirt my mother made for me, in that little shirt my mother made for me. Well, then to school they said I'd have to go. I didn't like my teacher, you must know, and when her back was turned I used to sneer, till she caught me and said, "Tommy, you come here." With a big stick she beat right down upon me. That's how she taught me my geography. I've got the map of PEI written on me, beneath that little shirt my mother made for me, beneath that little shirt my mother made for me. Now last year when I was on me holidays, upon the briny waters I did gaze. The water looked so good I thought I'd go and have a little swim, but in a minute, all the girls on the beach at me were staring, and some were snapping pictures I could see. It was very good for me that I was wearing that little shirt my mother made for me. I wore that little shirt my mother made for me. I got my education out behind the barn. I ain't a foolin', no siree. I passed each examination out behind the barn, and it almost made a wreck out of me. My pappy used to tan my hide out behind the barn. He taught me to be dignified out behind the barn. But when he took that strap to me and laid me down across his knee, it sure did hurt my dignity out behind the barn. I got my education out behind the barn. I ain't a foolin', no siree. I passed each examination out behind the barn, and it almost made a wreck out of me. I smoked my first cigarette out behind the barn. That's a day I can't forget out behind the barn. I got so sick you should have seen how that tobacco turned me green. I almost died of nicotine out behind the barn. I got my education out behind the barn. I ain't a foolin', no siree. I passed each examination out behind the barn, and it almost made a wreck out of me. I met me a pretty little girl one day out behind the barn. She wanted me to stay and play out behind the barn. She taught me how to kiss and pet, and that's a game I can't forget, 'cause we'll still play the same game yet out behind the barn. I got my education out behind the barn. I ain't a foolin', no siree. I passed each examination out behind the barn, and it almost made a wreck out of me. Oh, I wish I could go again out behind the barn and do some things that I did then out behind the barn. You might think it ain't no fun to be a poor old farmer's son, but you don't know what all I've done out behind the barn. I got my education out behind the barn. I ain't a foolin', no siree. I passed each examination out behind the barn, and it almost made a wreck out of me. It almost made a wreck out of me. When springtime does come, oh, won't we have fun? We'll throw up our jobs and we'll go on the bum. Hallelujah, I'm a bum. Hallelujah, bum again. Hallelujah, give us a handout to revive us again. No, I don't like work, and work don't like me, and that is the reason that I'm so hungry. Hallelujah, I'm a bum. Hallelujah, bum again. Hallelujah, give us a handout to revive us again. I went to a house and I knocked on the door, and the lady said, "Bum, bum, you've been here before." Hallelujah, I'm a bum. Hallelujah, bum again. Hallelujah, give us a handout to revive us again. I went to a store, I asked for some bread, and the lady said, "Bum, bum, the baker is dead." Hallelujah, I'm a bum. Hallelujah, bum again. Hallelujah, give us a handout to revive us again. I don't like work, and work don't like me, and that is the reason that I'm so hungry. Hallelujah, I'm a bum. Hallelujah, bum again. Hallelujah, give us a handout to revive us again. Hallelujah, I'm a bum. Hallelujah, bum again. Hallelujah, give us a handout to revive us again. One bright summer day in the month of May, a hobo he came hiking. He was singing a song, it was a merry little tune, and the tune was to my liking. He sang about a land he knew, a land of milk and honey, where the folks can go for many a day and you don't need any money. The buzzing of the bees and the cigarette trees and the sody water fountain, the lemonade spring where the bluebirds sing in the big rock candy mountain. In the Big Rock Candy Mountain, all the jails are made of tin, and you can always walk right out as soon as they put you in. The buzzing of the bees and the cigarette trees and the sody water fountain, the lemonade spring where the bluebirds sing in the Big Rock Candy Mountain. There's a lake of gin you can jump right in, and folks never change their socks, and the little streams of alcohol come a-trickling down the rocks. The buzzing of the bees and the cigarette trees and the sody water fountain, the lemonade spring where the bluebirds sing in the Big Rock Candy Mountain. In the Big Rock Candy Mountain, all the cops have wooden legs, the bulldogs all got rubber teeth, and the hens lay soft-boiled eggs. Where the buzzing of the bees and the cigarette trees and the sody water fountain, the lemonade spring where the bluebirds sing in the Big Rock Candy Mountain. You can loaf a lot where they ain't got no shovels, picks or saws, and they hung the jerk who invented work and the guy that made the laws. The buzzing of the bees and the cigarette trees and the sody water fountain, the lemonade spring where the bluebirds sing in the Big Rock Candy Mountain. I'd like to go where there ain't no snow and the folks are tender-hearted, where the folks can go for many a day and you don't need any money. The buzzing of the bees and the cigarette trees and the sody water fountain, the lemonade spring where the bluebirds sing in the Big Rock Candy Mountain. The lemonade spring where the bluebirds sing in the Big Rock Candy Mountain. 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 Good morning, Captain. Good morning to you, sir. Do you need a Muleskinner down on your new mud run? Here's a sick Muleskinner, I'll tell you that. I'm an old Muleskinner from down in old Kentucky way. I can make a mule listen, or I won't accept your pay. Hey, little water boy, give me a boy. Bring the bucket round, clang, clang, If you don't like your job, little water boy, you can lay that water bucket down. One more time now. If you listen a story I'll tell you of a girl who once lived in this land, of a girl who once was my sweetheart. She was known as the Blue Velvet Band. On her cheek was the first flush of nature. Her beauty it seemed to expand. Her hair hung down in long tresses, tied back with a blue velvet band. I can still see those tears since we parted, of my heartbroken blue velvet band. That night, as I left her, I told her I'd never go back to the old home again. 5 years on the wide open spaces was all that my poor heart could stand. Each night, as I laid on my pillow, I dreamed of my blue velvet band. The last night, as I laid down a-thinking of home, poor mother and dad, like a flash by my bedside was standing the form of my blue velvet band. Next day I started for my darling, to go back and to make her my bride. When I reached the old country depot, they told me my sweetheart had died. They had laid her to rest in the churchyard, beneath the wild flowing flowers of the land. On her finger was the ring that I bought her, in her hair was the blue velvet band. Why do you treat me as if I were only a friend? What have I done that has made you so bitter and cold? Sometimes I wonder if you'll be contented again. Will you be happy when you are withered and old? While I am writing this letter, my last one to you, although it's goodbye, it's so hard to believe that we're through. For soon you'll grow weary and tired of another man's gold. Then will you long for the love you once treated so cold? I cannot offer you diamonds or a mansion so fine. I cannot offer the clothes that your young body craves. But if you'd only forever just say you'd be mine, think of the heartache, the sorrows and tears you might save. While I am writing this letter, I think of the past. I think of the promises and vows you have broken so free. While here on this paper my tears say my farewell at last. I will be gone when you get this last letter from me. I will be gone when you get this last letter from me. The postman delivered a letter that filled a mother's heart full of joy. But she didn't know till she read the inside. It was the last one from her darling boy. Dear Mom was the way that it started. I love you so much, it went on. Mom, you didn't know that I loved you so, but I'll prove it when this war is won. I'm writing this down in a trench, Mom. Don't scold if it isn't so neat. You know, like you did when I was a kid and I came home with mud on my feet. Now the captain just gave us our orders, and Mom, we're gonna carry them through. I'll finish this letter the first chance I get, but for now I'll just say I love you. Then the mother's old hands began to tremble as she fought against tears in her eyes. But they came unashamed, for there was no name, and she knew that her darling boy had died. That night as she knelt by her bedside, she prayed, "O Lord above, hear my plea, and protect all the sons who are fighting tonight, and dear God, keep our Canada free." The warship had landed and I come ashore. The fighting was over for me evermore. For I had been wounded, they left me for dead. A stone from my pillow and snow from my bed. The enemy found me and took me away and made me a prisoner of war, so they say. But God in his mercy was with me one day. The gate was left open and I ran away. I returned to the old home, my sweet wife to see. A home I had built for my darling and me. The door'd been left open, and there on a stand I saw a picture of her and a man. The clothes she was wearing told me the sad tale. My darling was wearing a new bridal veil. Then I found a letter, and these words I read. Missing in action, she thought I was dead. Then I kissed her picture and whispered goodbye. My poor heart was aching, but my eyes were dry. I knew it was too late for her now to learn. I knew she must never know I had returned. A vagabond dreamer, forever I'll roam, because there was no one to welcome me home. The face of my darling no more I shall see, for missing in action forever I'll be. Don't forget me, little darling, when I'm getting old and gray. Just a little thought before I'm going far, far away. I'll be waiting on the hillside where the wild red roses grow, on the sunny side of the mountain where the rippling waters flow. Don't forget about the sweet times that we had so long ago. Don't forget about the promises you made me and so. I'm still waiting on the hillside, waiting for the day you call, on the sunny side of the mountain where the rippling waters fall. Tell me, darling, in your letters, do you ever think of me? Tell me, darling, do you ever long for days that used to be? I'm still waiting on the hillside where the wild red roses grow, on the sunny side of the mountain where the rippling waters flow. It's been so long, dear, since I've seen you, but my love still lingers on. I still love you, little darling, though my happy days are gone. I'm still waiting on the hillside, waiting for the day you call, on the sunny side of the mountain where the rippling waters fall. So don't forget me, little darling, while I'm getting old and gray. Just a little thought before I'm going far, far away. I'll be waiting on the hillside where the wild red roses grow, on the sunny side of the mountain where the rippling waters flow, on the sunny side of the mountain where the rippling waters flow. Let me tell the story, I can tell it all, about the mountain boy who ran illegal alcohol. His daddy made the whiskey, his sonny drove the load, and when his engine roared, they called the highway Thunder Road. Sometimes he drove to Nashville, sometimes to Memphis town. The revenuers chased him, but they couldn't run him down. Each time they thought they had him, his engine would explode, and he'd go by like they were standing still on Thunder Road. And he thundered, thundered over Thunder Road. Thunder was his engine and white lightning was his load. Moonshine, moonshine to quench the devil's thirst. The law, they never caught him, 'cause the devil got him first. The devil got him first. It was on the 1st of April, 1954. The federal men sent word to him to make his run no more. They said 200 agents would cover all the state. Whichever road he tried to run, they'd get him sure as fate. Now, son, his daddy told him, make this run your last. Your tank is filled with 100 proof and you're all tuned up with gas. But don't take any chances, lad, and if you can't get through, I'd rather have you back, my boy, than all that Mountain Dew. But he thundered, thundered over Thunder Road. Thunder was his engine and white lightning was his load. Moonshine, moonshine to quench the devil's thirst. The law, they never caught him, 'cause the devil got him first. The devil got him first. He roared right out of Harlan like something never seen. He shot the gap at Cumberland by Maynardsville, he screamed, with T-men on his taillight and roadblocks up ahead. That mountain boy took roads that even angels fear to tread. He thundered on through Knoxville and out on Kingston Pike, but just outside of Bearden, Coogan's hoodlums made their strike. He left the road at 90, that's all there is to say. The devil took the moonshine and the mountain boy away. The day he thundered, thundered over Thunder Road. Thunder was his engine and white lightning was his load. Moonshine, moonshine to quench the devil's thirst. The law, they never caught him, 'cause the devil got him first. 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 From the great Atlantic Ocean to the wide Pacific shore, she climbs along the woodlands, down hills and by the shore. She's mighty tall and handsome, she's known quite well by all. She's the modern combination of the Wabash Cannonball. Now she pulled in from Birmingham one cold December day. When she pulled up to the station, you could hear all the people say, "Why, there's a gal from Tennessee, she's long and she's tall. She come down from Birmingham on the Wabash Cannonball." Your eastern states are a dandy, so the western people say, from New York to St. Louis and Chicago by the way. From the hills of Minnesota where the rippling waters fall, no changes can be taken on the Wabash Cannonball. Come listen to the jingle, to the rumble and the roar, while she climbs high mountains, down hills and by the shore. Hear the mighty rush of the engine, hear the happy hobo call, as we travel through the jungles on the Wabash Cannonball. Now here's to Daddy Claxton, may his name forever stand. He'll always be remembered by the people of his land. When his days are over and the curtain round him falls, we'll carry him on to victory on the Wabash Cannonball. We'll carry him on to victory on the Wabash Cannonball. Ooh, pray. Ooh. Doodle-dee-ho, doodle-dee-ho, doodle-dee. Riding on an eastbound freight train, speeding through the night, Hobo Bill, the railroad bum, was pining for his life. The sadness of his eyes revealed the torture of his soul. He raised the weak and weary hand to brush away the cold. Doodle-dee-ho, hoolie, hoolie-ho, doodle-dee-ho, hoolie. Outside the rain was falling on that lonesome boxcar door, while a little form of Hobo Bill lies still upon the floor. As the train sped through the darkness and the raging storm outside, no one knew that Hobo Bill was taking his last ride. Doodle-dee-ho, hoolie, hoolie-ho, doodle-dee-ho, hoolie. No warm lights flickered round him, no blankets there to fold. There was nothing but a howling wind and the driving rain so cold. When he heard a whistle blown in a dreamy kind of way, the hobo seemed contented, though, for he smiled there where he lay. Doodle-dee-ho, hoolie, hoolie-ho, doodle-dee-ho, hoolie. It was early in the morning when they raised the hobo's head. The smile still lingered on his face, but Hobo Bill was dead. There was no mother's longing to ease his weary soul, for he was just another railroad bum who died out in the cold. Doodle-dee-ho, hoolie, hoolie-ho, doodle-dee-ho, doodle-dee. a cold winter's night, not a star was in sight, and the north wind came howling down the line. With his sweetheart so dear stood a brave engineer, with his orders to pull out number 9. He kissed her goodbye with a tear in his eye, but the joy in his heart he could not hide. Oh, the whole world seemed bright as she told him that night that tomorrow she'd be his blushing bride. As the train rolled along and the wheels hummed a song and the black smoke came pouring from the stack, with his headlight agleam, it seemed to brighten his dream of tomorrow when he'd be coming back. He sped round the hill, but then his brave heart stood still. There a clear light was shining in his face. He whispered a prayer as he drew on the air, for he knew this would be his final race. In the wreck he was found, lying there on the ground, and they asked him to raise his weary head. As his breath slowly went, this message he sent to the sweetheart who thought she would be wed. There's a little white home that I bought for our loan, where I dreamed we'd be happy by and by. But I'll leave it to you, for I know you'll be true till we meet at that golden gate. Goodbye. A little child on a sick bed lay, and death was very near. She was the pride and only child of a railroad engineer. His duty had called him from those he loved, and seeing that hope was dim, while a tear he shed to his wife, he said, just keep the lanterns trim. Just hang a light as I pass tonight, hang it where it can be seen. If our baby's dead, just show the red. If she's better, then show the green. In a little house by the railroad track, a mother with watchful eye saw a gleam of hope and a feeble smile as the train came rushing by. Just one short look was his only chance to see the light agleam. In the midnight air there arose a prayer, thank God the light was green. Just hang a light as I pass tonight, hang it where it can be seen. If our baby's dead, just show the red. If she's better, then show the green. Come all you rounders if you want to hear a story about a brave engineer. Casey Jones was the rounder's name. On a 6/8 wheeler he won his fame. The caller called Casey at 4:30. He kissed his wife at the station door, mounted to the cabin with his orders in his hand, took his farewell trip to the promised land. Casey Jones mounted to the cabin, Casey Jones with his orders in his hand. Casey Jones mounted to the cabin, took his farewell trip to the promised land. He looked at his watch and his watch was slow. He looked at the water and the water was low. He turned to the fireman and then he said, we're gonna reach for school but we'll all be dead. Casey Jones gonna reach for school, Casey Jones, but we'll all be dead. Casey Jones says we're gonna reach for school, we're gonna reach for school, but we'll all be dead. Casey pulled up to that Reno hill. He tooted for the crossing with an awful shrill. The switchman knew by the engine's moan that the man at the throttle was Casey Jones. He pulled up within 4 miles of the place. Number 4 stared him right in the face. He turned to the fireman and said, boy, you better jump, 'cause there's 2 locomotives that's a-going to bump. Casey Jones, 2 locomotives, Casey Jones, that's a-going to bump. Casey Jones says there's 2 locomotives that's a-going to bump. Now Casey said just before he died, there's only 2 more roads I'd love to ride. The conductor said, what might they be? He said the South Pacific and the Santa Fe. Mrs. Casey Jones said, go to bed, children, and stop your crying. Mrs. Casey Jones said, go to bed, children, your papa's now riding on the heavenly line. Oh, come all you rounders if you want to hear a story about a brave engineer. Casey Jones was the rounder's name. On a 6/8 wheeler he won his fame. Casey Jones mounted to the cabin, Casey Jones with his orders in his hand. Casey Jones mounted to the cabin, took his farewell trip to the promised land. He took his farewell trip to the promised land. All around the water tank, waiting for a train, 1,000 miles away from home, sleeping in the rain. I walked up to a brakeman to hand him a line of talk. He said, if you got money, boy, I'll see that you don't walk. I haven't got a nickel, sir, not a penny can I show. He said, get off, you railroad bum, and he slammed the boxcar door. He put me up in Texas, a state I dearly love. The wide open spaces all around me, the moon and stars above. I've got no one to love me or lend me a helping hand. I'm on my way from Frisco, going back to Dixieland. My pocketbook is empty, I'm sleeping in the rain, 1,000 miles away from home, waiting for a train. I'm riding on that new river train, riding on that new river train. It's the same old train that has brought me here. It's gonna take me home again. Darling, you can't love one. Oh, darling, you can't love one. You just can't love one, dear, and have any fun. Oh, darling, you can't love one. Darling, you can't love two. Darling, you can't love two. You just can't love two, dear, and still be true. what you said. You'd rather see me dead than riding on that New River train. Darling, you can't love for. Oh, darling, you can't love for. You can't love for, dear, and love me anymore. No, darling, you can't love for. Darling, you can't love five. Darling, you can't love five. You can't love five, dear, and still be alive. No, darling, you can't love five. I'm riding on that New River train. I'm riding on that New River train. Same old train that has brought me here. It's gonna take me home again. I'm riding on that New River train. I'm riding on that New River train. Remember what you said. You'd rather see me dead than riding on that New River train. I'm 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 riding on that Nestled deep in the heart of those Tennessee hills, a message is found by the rocks and the rills. There stands my old homestead of long, long ago, which brings back fond memories of the one that I love so. I courted a maiden so sweet and so fair, with heavenly blue eyes, she had chestnut brown hair. She told me she loved me and that she'd be mine, but I went away leaving her there behind. Now I'll tell you the reason why I left her there, to roam this old world with its sorrows and cares. I found her one night in the arms of a man, hugging and kissing like only two lovers can. I went to my home with a heart full of woe. I packed my belongings, determined to go. For many long years now this wide world I've roamed, with thoughts of my darling, my sweetheart, my own. While drinking one night in a small country town, a stranger walked in and by chance he sat down. We were talking of loved ones and I happened to find his sister was that old sweetheart of mine. When he heard my story to me, then he said, the one you once loved has a long time been dead. She waited so long for the day that you'd return, and why you left her she never did learn. Now I am the man that you saw that fatal night. I was wrapped in the arms of my sister so tight. She loved you so dearly, but you broke her heart. Now stranger from her, forevermore you'll have to part. I drove a herd of cattle down through old Nebraska way. That's how I came to be in the state of Iowa. I met me a gal in Iowa, her eyes were big and blue. When I asked her what her name was, she said Sioux City Sue. Sioux City Sue, Sioux City Sue. Your hair is red and your eyes are blue, and I'd swap my horse and dog for you. Sioux City Sue, Sioux City Sue. There ain't no gal as true as my sweet Sioux City Sue. Now I'm admitting Iowa, I owe a lot to you. I come from Nebraska and found Sioux City Sue. I'm a-gonna rope and tie her up, I'll use my old lasso. I'm gonna put my brand on my sweet Sioux City Sue. Sioux City City Sue, Sioux City Sue. Your hair is red and your eyes are blue. I'd swap my horse and my dog for you. Sioux City Sue, Sioux City Sue. There ain't no gal as true as my sweet Sioux City Sue. Sioux City Sue, hey, hey, Sioux City Sue. Your hair is red and your eyes are blue. I'd swap my horse and my dog for you. Sioux City Sue, Sioux City Sue. There ain't no gal as true as you, my sweet Sioux City Sue. All you cowpunchers, I'll sing you a song of the Calgary Kid. I've known him quite long, the Calgary Kid, and some of his tricks while he was punching cattle on the 76. Now the 76 was a mighty large ranch where the Calgary Kid took many as a chance of milking wild cows and bulldogging steers, and the troubles he's had would bring you to tears. The boss of that ranch was old Bob McEldive. He had a pet horse he allowed no one to ride, but the kid took him out for to go to a dance, for he was quite willing to take a big chance. Now the kid brought him back all lathered and sore. I can't tell you here how that old cowboy swore. He looked at the kid with a cock in his eye. He tore at his hair and he clawed at the sky. He said to the kid, there's only one thing to do. I'll fire you now, you wild buckaroo. So come to the cookhouse, I'll give you your time. Pack up your saddle and twirl up your twine. It's 40-odd miles to the old CPR. You can rest on the hillside and pick your guitar. The days are bound to come when you're up to your tricks. Think of your last ride on the 76. Now the Calgary Kid has been on the go from the 76 ranch to old Mexico. Riding and singing is all he will do. I'll tell you right now, he's a good buckaroo. Come sit by my side, little darling. Come lay your cool hand on my brow, and promise me, darling, you'll never be nobody's darling but mine. Be nobody's darling but mine, love. Be honest, be faithful, be kind, and promise me, darling, you'll never be nobody's darling but mine. You're as sweet as the flowers in springtime, and as fair as the dew on the rose. I would rather be somebody's darling than a poor boy that nobody knows. My mother has gone up in heaven, my daddy has gone down below. My sister has gone to meet mother, but where I will go nobody knows. So come sit by my side if you love me. Be honest, be faithful, be kind, and promise me, darling, you'll never be nobody's darling but mine. Be nobody's darling but mine, love. Be honest, be faithful, be kind, and promise me, darling, you'll never be nobody's darling but mine. The saddest song belongs to lovers in the gloamin'. The saddest days are the days that used to be. The saddest words I ever heard were the words of parting, when you said, sweetheart, remember me. Remember me when the candle lights are gleaming. Remember me at the close of a long, long day. It would be so sweet when all alone I'm dreaming, just to know you still remember me. You told me once that you were mine alone forever, and I was yours till the end of eternity. But all those vows are broken now, and you'll never be the same except in memory. Remember me when the candle lights are gleaming. Remember me at the close of a long, long day. It would be so sweet when all alone I'm dreaming, just to know you still remember me. The saddest song belongs to lovers in the gloamin'. The saddest days are the days that used to be. The saddest words I ever heard were words of parting, when you said, sweetheart, remember me. Remember me when the candle lights are gleaming. Remember me at the close of a long, long day. It would be so sweet when all alone I'm dreaming, just to know you still remember me. They talk about Texas, Kentucky, and Maine. They talk about London, Paris, and Spain. But there's a little island I long there to be. Prince Edward Island is heaven to me. The shores are so pretty, the fields are so green, the roads are so winding with such pretty scenes. The air is so pure and the people so gay. Prince Edward Island, I'm coming to stay. With swimming and hunting and fishing galore, the sun shines so bright on its long golden shore. The Lord made this island for all men to see. Prince Edward Island is heaven to me. You know, folks, there are 10 provinces in the Dominion of Canada, each beautiful in their own respect, such as British Columbia, Manitoba, Alberta, and Saskatchewan, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Quebec, Ontario, and Newfoundland. But Prince Edward Island to me is the one. The soil is so fertile, so rich and so rare. It yields such potatoes that none can compare. The tourists are welcome to walk its red soil, while farmers are happy to work and to toil. Now there's thousands of islands in this land of ours, like dots on the ocean or dew on the flowers. But a touch of God's great hand of this island must be, for Prince Edward Island is heaven to me. Yes, Prince Edward Island is heaven to me. I wandered through Scotland in a bygone yesterday. I loved a girl in Scotland, but I left and went away. Now the years have come and gone, I still sing that old-time song. I sang to my bonny lass in dear old Scotland. Roamin' in the gloamin' on the bonny banks of Clyde. Roamin' in the gloamin' gloamin' with my lassie by my side. When the sun is gone to rest, that's the time that I love best. Oh, it's lovely roamin' in the gloamin'. I met her in the moonlight at the close of every day. I left her in the moonlight and my ship then sailed away. And the years have come and gone, but I still sing that old time song. I sang to my bonny lass there in the moonlight. Roamin' in the gloamin' on the bonny banks of Clyde. Roamin' in the gloamin' with my lassie by my side. When the sun is gone to rest, that's the time that I love best. Oh, it's lovely roamin' in the gloamin'. Roamin' in the gloamin' on the bonny banks of Clyde. Roamin' in the gloamin' with my lassie by my side. When the sun is gone to rest, that's the time that I love best. Oh, it's lovely roamin' in the gloamin'. Oh, it's lovely roamin' in the gloamin'. 'Twas away down in old Nova Scotia, Moose River I guess is the name. 3 Canadians on Easter Sunday to a tumble-down gold mine they came. They descended the mine for inspection, never dreaming fate trailed them close by. With a crash that gave them no warning, it entombed them in the mine there to die. Great men from all over the country volunteered to give up their lives. They slaved with unceasing efforts, it seemed the death they'd defy. Long days and nights they labored, turned back when great cave-ins fell. While far below patiently waiting, these men were in one living hell. Many times they turned back when near rescued, fate seemed always blocking their way. With a prayer on their lips they worked onward, we must win, pray we may. On Sunday they got the first message from the men prisoned far, far below. Can you help us, they heard the men calling, our hardship God above only knows. Next message filled all hearts with sorrow, as they heard them say one pal is gone. We're trying our best to hold on, boys, do your best and don't make it too long. At last the great strain was broken, a miner out of breath brought the news. We've won the great fight, he was calling, at last we've dug our way through. That great fight against the dark angel is won by fighting hard all the way. Still a tragedy came of the rescue from the tomb of those terrible days. And now my story is ending with the hardships of many a day. But this rescue will go down in history about the gold mine down Moose River way. 'Twas there in that far north country lived a trapper thought insane, who robbed his redskin neighbors. To the police they sent a complaint. A few redcoats of the Mounties, who were noted for their fame, they went north to find the trouble, and the trapper they put to blame. They journeyed out to his cabin, no harm was meant, you know. But the trapper with his 6-gun, he laid a Mountie low. It was then that the trouble started, and as the story goes forth, it became the greatest manhunt in the history of the North. For weeks and weeks they trailed him through the snow and the bitter cold, and the hardships that he endured we folks will never know. Once when they had him surrounded, while trailing him through the snow, he aimed another deadly shot, he laid another Mountie low. Still on and on they trailed him, but the trapper knew his game. He would backtrack on his trailers, the man they thought was insane. But the chances of his escape for the trapper they grew slim, for they hunted him by day and they hunted him by night. This manhunt they must win. Then just in an evening twilight, he was climbing up a hill. The trapper sighted his trailers again, he aimed another shot to kill. Down deep in the snow for shelter, while the bullets were flying low, he aimed another deadly shot, he laid another Mountie low. But the rest of them heard the shooting this time, and they quickly followed their lead. And under a hail of bullets, his riddled body dropped dead. Now the greatest of the manhunts is ended in the history of that northern land. But we must give the credit to the Mounties, for they always get their man. The moon was out, the stars were bright, and the larks were singing free. Come listen and I'll tell about my old brown coat and me. I lived upon my father's farm till I was 21. Then I went out on my own, a man's life to begin. I fell in love with Mary Braid, her father owned a store. There never was a girl I loved so tenderly before. But Mary Braid, she was so proud and haughty as could be. She oft times said that she'd not wed that old brown coat and me. Well, I did not stop to plead the case, for pleading was in vain. I bid farewell to Mary Braid and never saw her face again. Yes, Mary Braid had been so proud and haughty as could be. She married up with a lawyer's son whose name was Joseph Lee. He wore a coat of shining black, it was so very grand. Mary thought that he would make a noble and true man. Now there's 40 summers o'er my head, there's riches in my store. The children play out on the green, my wife stands in the door. I've got land enough now and money enough for castles tall and high, and there's not a squire in all this land who can wear such clothes as I. But Mary's husband, he became a pirate on the sea. She oft times said she should have wed that old brown coat and me. Now an old brown coat, it may not be so fine or so very grand, but it can cover the warmest heart you'll find in any man. So girls, when you're called to choose the man who bends the knee, think of the fate of Mary Braid, my old brown coat and me. There's a valley leading down from the great Atlantic to the westward where all beauties can be found. Many years I've lived among the glories found there, and to the world I wish this message known. When it's apple blossom time in Annapolis Valley, and all nature is in bloom to beautify, there's no other place for me, 'cause I'm so happy, where God's hand has made the land of paradise. There's a place that's dear to me in Annapolis Valley. It's a little dream home nestled among the hills. Silvery moonbeams dance across the glorious blossoms. It brings back the fondest memories to me. When it's apple blossom time in Annapolis Valley, and all nature is in bloom to beautify. There's no other place for me, 'cause I'm so happy, where God's hand has made the land of paradise. When evening shadows fall on Annapolis Valley, and sweet perfume from the blossoms fill the air, there's no other place for me, 'cause I'm so happy, where all nature has no beauty to compare. When it's apple blossom time in Annapolis Valley, and all nature is in bloom to beautify, there's no other place for me, 'cause I'm so happy, where God's hand has made the land of paradise.